Hi everyone, my name is Whitney Haynes and I'm an independent consultant and regional vice president with Arbonne. I really just wanted to come to all of you guys today to just kind of share a little bit about my journey and my story with you guys. And I think some people know that I do Arbonne, but not everyone kind of knows how it actually came about. So that's what I'm really excited to share with all of you guys today. So I am actually a licensed registered nurse, and my husband and I are originally from really small towns in Kentucky. And I found Arbonne when we were living in California. We moved out there for a couple of years and took full-time nursing jobs because our jobs in Kentucky just honestly, it wasn't paying the bills. We were just barely getting by, and it was like at the end of every single month, there was always more month left than there was finances. And so we packed up in October of 2013 and took our little 15-year-old Josie at the time. Today she's 5, but we took her out to California and we started working out there. The really sad thing about that is while the money was great, they separated my husband and I because we were both ER nurses, and I had to go to nights and he had to go to days. So really quickly we found ourselves with a full-time nanny, and the situation and our current circumstances were definitely not ideal. I was pregnant with our second baby at the time, and I just kept, playing the situation out in my head and thinking, how are we going to raise a family with one of us always at work? Literally, if he wasn't at work, I was at work. And whenever we were both off together, it was like one of us was sleeping because we worked opposite shifts. So we didn't have, just that family time, all of us together as a family. And so after I had my second baby, it really set in. Like, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I can't go back to work. How am I going to do this? But we had moved out to California to work, so not going back to work wasn't an option. Cutting corners to be a stay-at-home mom, that wasn't an option. We went out there for a reason and for a purpose, and it was to tackle our debt, get out from underneath those student loans and our car payments, and I had to go back to work. So I started leaving my oldest and my second baby, with a sitter, and I found myself dreaming all the time and asking myself and joking around, like, what if there was a way that I could get paid and not have to go to work? Ha ha ha. Like, I always thought that was not real, and I would joke about it. And what if there was a way that I could make extra income and not have to be locked within these walls, these 4 walls, 12 hours a day? I used to joke around and say, gosh, if I could just run home on my lunch break and squeeze my little 6-month-old baby and just give her a big hug, that would make all the difference. Gosh, if there was a way that I could just bring my kids to work. What if the facility had a daycare? I came up with all of these crazy dreams because I so desperately wanted more time with my family. But none of those things were a reality. And so really quickly I found myself just getting in this nasty rat race of life. And before you know it, I had 3 jobs as a nurse, and I was employed. I finally left the ER that I was in because they wouldn't get me off nights, and so I found a day shift job in a recovery room, which is PACU, for those of you guys who are familiar with the medical world. And so I found myself in a recovery room, taking care of patients after they had surgery, and I wasn't completely on days. It was kind of like a mid shift. I would go in at 11 in the morning and not get off till 11 at night. So I wasn't missing breakfast, lunch, and dinner like I was prior to that, but now I was missing, bedtime, bath time, story time, all of that. And it still just wasn't the life that I had designed in my head for me and my family. Because I took a little bit of a pay cut going to days, I picked up 2 extra jobs because I was so scared and fearful that we weren't going to make that certain dollar amount. So I found myself working full-time in the PACU, and then I picked up a little side job at the local jail. So I took care of the inmates there. And then I also picked up another side job with working in other emergency departments. And so literally I worked 12-hour shifts 5 and 6 days a week. And I thought I can just give myself one day off and that's enough. But it wasn't enough. it wasn't enough, because working 5 and 6, 12-hour shifts a week literally leaves you no time for your family. And so I'll never forget the day that I met my sponsor, and her name's Kim Ford. She had been involved with Arbonne for 10 years. And I remember just looking at her and being like, oh my gosh, your skin looks amazing. What do you use? And she quickly asked me if I had ever heard of Arbonne. And I said, no, I've never heard of it. And she was like, oh my gosh, you've never heard of Arbonne? And she couldn't believe that I had never heard of it. But you guys, there's only a 1 to 3% brand awareness of Arbonne. So yeah, I had never heard of it. Like some of you guys, maybe you've never heard of Arbonne before, and that's okay. Most people don't know about Arbonne, but I just remember chatting with her, and she taught me to be a better label reader and how to recognize ingredients that, aren't good for your skin. And just, she was filling my brain with all of these things that no one had ever taught me. And I remember feeling so gypped. I was like, oh my gosh, why has no one ever told me that I'm using and ingesting harmful chemicals on my body? Not just my body, but my precious little babies and my husband. And these are people that I love and I care about. And I just felt so slighted. But then she started sharing the business opportunity with me. And I'm not going to lie, I was a little rude about it. And not to her, but in my head, I remember rolling my eyes and being like, ugh, here we go. Someone else is going to ask me to join one of their pyramid schemes or whatever. And I wasn't, like, it wasn't an option in my head. I worked really hard. I went straight into nursing school when I graduated high school. Like literally, I graduated high school in May. I started nursing school in August, and I was working as a licensed registered nurse at age 20. And I just remember thinking at this time when I'm talking to her, I was 24, and even though I was a mom, I was a young mom, I was just 24. And so I remember thinking, I've got this whole thing figured out, and what you're trying to show me or to tell me is not part of the plan. The plan is for me to be a prestigious registered nurse and work all over the country and earn all of these certifications, and it is what it is, and that's it. I mean, I was really closed off to what it was that she wanted me to do, because people had tried to talk to me about other things in the past, and I remember being super turned off because there was always a catch. There was always fine print. There was always something in the black and white. And maybe it was you had to have $150 auto ship, or you had to sell a certain amount of products before you could ever get a paycheck, and the whole pyramid scheme thing. And I just remember thinking, that's not going to be me. You're not going to fool me into that. Thanks but no thanks. And I was really nice to her, but those were just some of the thoughts that were going through my head. But what piqued my interest and kind of turned things around was when she told me that she was making more money with her Arbonne business, working 10 to 15 hours a week, than she was making working as a registered nurse. And you guys just have to put yourself in my situation. At that time, I think I had just worked over 50 hours a week. I was working anywhere between 50 and 60 hours a week as a nurse. And that slapped me in the face. I remember thinking, wait, there's a way for you to make more money aside from picking up an extra 12-hour shift. And honestly, that's when I started listening to her. And I had a lot of questions about the business, and I think I even remember saying like, yeah, but don't you have to have like an auto ship? And she was like, no, actually you don't. And I remember going home, and I remember pulling out of work that day, and for the first time in a really long time, I just felt so hopeful. And I had this little thing inside of me, and I just remember feeling so excited, but I didn't really know why, because doing this wasn't an option. But she filled me with hope. And I went home and I talked to my husband about this, and honestly, I was just kind of waiting for him to be like, yeah, no, seriously, you're not going to do that. And I shared with him, I'm like, so I met this girl, because remember, my husband and I were out there, we were chasing the dollar. And so I remember telling him, so I met this girl at work today, and she makes more money doing this thing called Airborne. I didn't know how to say Arbonne. Doing this thing called Airborne than she does working as a nurse. And he was like, what? Like, what is it? And I told him, I was like, well, I don't really know. Like, I know they have skincare and cosmetics and nutrition products and stuff like that, but I don't really know what all it entails. I was like, but she sent me a video, and so my husband and I always sat down and I listened to it. He was just kind of like scrolling through, looking at Facebook on his phone, and after I listened to that call, like some of you guys are listening to this right now, I just remember thinking, if that girl from a really small town in Tennessee can make this business work, then maybe I can too. And I went back and I told her, I said, okay, I want to make this business work, but I don't think you understand. I don't think you know where I'm from. I'm from a super small town in Kentucky. Like, I don't think that I could really be successful at this. I don't know anyone here. I've never sold anything in my life. I have 3 jobs and 2 kids. Like, my schedule is crazy busy. And she assured me that she could show me how to work this into my crazy busy life. And so, honestly, I just took a blind leap of faith and trusted that, you know, God had put this in my path for a reason, and that I just needed to be obedient in that and just listen to him. And so I started my business on Super Bowl Sunday of 2015, and little did I know I was actually pregnant with my 3rd baby. Not planned. Definitely such a huge blessing, and I couldn't imagine my life without all 3 of our kiddos. Today our kids are 5, 3, and 1. But I didn't know that I was pregnant again. And so then it was just like, oh, are you serious? I have 3 jobs. I have 2 kids. Now I'm pregnant. My husband's in school online and he works full time. Like, can I really do this? Can I really be successful at this? And she just kept telling me, she was like, this business is simple. It is so simple, but it's also simple not to do. So if you just continue to do the simple things, you will be successful. And I was like, okay. And I kind of felt like, and maybe it's just because I have kids, but I just play that song in my head from the Nemo movie of like, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. And that's kind of how my life was. Like, I was just trying to keep my head above water. You know, we were just trying to pay off our debt, and ultimately our desire was to come back and live closer to our family without all of the debt that we had, you know, previously moved out to California with. And so I said yes to this business. I didn't know what I was doing. You guys, I didn't bring anything to the table. All I had was hope and faith. I didn't know how to apply makeup. It definitely wasn't a strong suit of mine. I mean, think about this. I was a nurse. Like, I used to wake up super early in the morning, go for a run, shower really quickly, and I would like run into work with little to no makeup on. I didn't know how to apply makeup. I didn't know the differences or the harmful side effects of whey protein and soy protein. I didn't know that I was supposed to be using anti-aging skincare. I was like, I'm 24. I'm not going to get old. No, not really. But I didn't know, and I didn't use skincare. And honestly, like, I look back now and I'm just like, wow, like, I'm so glad that I trusted and I took that leap of faith, because really easily I could have said, I don't have what it takes to do this. But deep down inside, I knew that I was called to do this for a reason. And you know, when I said yes 2 years ago, I thought I was saying yes because of me and my family and the things that we needed. But what I have learned along this journey is that I said yes to this opportunity because there are people out there who needed me to show them that this was possible and what they are able to do for their family. And so maybe you're listening to this today and you guys could really just use an extra $500 a month. Well, the good news about that is that we help people get to the first level of management, which gives you an extra $500 to $1,000 a month in their first 30 to 60 days. Like, that's really quick. And working this business into your crazy busy life like I did, and working this business just 10 to 15 hours a week or less if that's all that you have, we can teach you how to get that extra $500. And you know, maybe you need more than that, but gosh guys, like, think about that. $500 is a couple credit card payments. You know, that's a car payment. That may be your mortgage or your rent, or that may be half of your mortgage depending on where you live. But I don't know anyone who couldn't use an extra $500 a month. And so I was able to get there my first 2 months in the business, and I just remember feeling like I had accomplished something and I was actually getting a paycheck, and I paid $79 to get started. And if you're watching this in the month of March, then it's only $39 to get started, so even better. But I remember paying that $79 to start my business and wondering and thinking, can I really make this $79 back? I don't know what I'm doing. And my first paycheck was a little over $350. So yeah, I made my $79 back. But 2 months into my business, I had hit that level where I was making, the average of $500 to $1,000 a month. My paycheck was just a little over $500 that month, and it just kept growing. So like I said, I found out I was pregnant with my third, and I just kept working this business on purpose. And if you're watching this today, I just want you to know that I had all those same fears of, what if it doesn't work? Like, I know people who have tried things like this and they haven't been successful at it. And I'm here to tell you right now from personal experience, the best copycat wins at this. Like, seriously, if you just do what I did and you work this business consistently, not constantly, but consistently, you will promote and you will be successful in this business. If you can read off of a note card, then you can be successful. And it's just sharing the facts. And the facts are, we're a 37-year-old company. Our motto is being pure, safe, and beneficial. Our ingredient policy is second to none. The products are the best. You have to try them and build them for yourselves. And people start buying them. That was it. That's how I got to the first level of management. The second level of management, area manager, the average income is $1,000 to $3,000 a month. And for most people, you guys, this is job replacing income. I know for registered nurses in the state of Kentucky, we make about $2,500 a month. And sometimes it can be a little less and sometimes a little more. But for the most part, average income is $2,500 a month. And so when I promoted to area manager, my 5th month in the business, Arbonne replaced what I was making as a nurse. And I'm still working the same 10 to 15 hours a week. And I'm ditching some of those jobs that had me working 50 to 60 hours a week as a nurse. And I just remember my husband and I, we took a step back and we were like, whoa, is this really happening? Is this really real? And my 6th month in the business, I got put on bed rest with my 3rd pregnancy. And I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, like, this is such a God thing. Because he knew that I was going to have a complicated pregnancy, and I was able to promote to where I was replacing what I was making as a nurse 5 months into the business. And so we weren't strapped financially. And that's what I like to share with people. Do you have a plan B? If something happens to the main source of income in your family, what are you going to do about it? Maybe you're not the main source of income, but maybe your spouse is. And if something unexpectedly happens, an impact happens on your life, what are you going to do without that income? Most people don't have enough finances put aside or saved to survive when life happens. And you guys, I'm here to tell you, I know today I'm only 26 years old, but I have lived a little, and I do know that life happens. It keeps happening to me every single day. Appliances break, kids get sick, stuff happens to family members. Maybe you throw your back out, maybe you have an unexpected injury. Stuff happens, life happens, and it's not going to stop happening. And none of us are immune to that. None of us are immune to the things that will happen in life, but you can do something about it and you can prepare for impact. And I truly believe that this business came to me at that time because I needed to prepare for impact. I needed to prepare for the fact that I was going to be put on bed rest. And I still consistently worked this business from Wi-Fi and my laptop while I was put on bed rest. I remember, doing a couple of presentations, and I had people pack my bags in for me. And I still shared the hope that this had given me and my family. And so I eventually, after a long, hard 9 months of pregnancy, I had our 3rd baby. That was in October of 2015. And I went through another really hard time in my life, and I struggled with some postpartum depression after I had him, and just being all the way across the country from our family. And in a really weak moment, I looked at my husband and I said, we have to move. Like, we have to move back across the country. And so we got rid of our home that we were renting. We found a place on the internet in a small town called Hendersonville, Tennessee. So I reside right outside of Nashville now. And we moved. We packed up and we moved across the country when my 3rd baby was 8 weeks old. And I kind of had another come to Jesus moment in my business, and I thought, how can I work this business? I don't know anyone here. And, God is so good, and He provided in every way that He possibly could. And I remained obedient to Him and His will for my life. And I just kept working this business. And so I want you guys to know that if you're watching this, and if you just have that little glimmer of hope, or you desperately need the finances, if you have a why, you can survive anyhow. And what I mean by that is, my why was being a present mother with my children, having more time freedom with my family, like not just my children, but also my husband, having more financial freedom. Those were my whys. And the how figured itself out. The how as in I didn't know anyone here. So if you have a why, you can survive anyhow. And if you begin to act, the parts will start to come. So you don't know how it's going to happen. Looking into this business, you don't know how you're going to get to the first level of management. You don't know how you're going to get to area manager if that's what you need, or regional vice president if that's what you need. You don't know how those things are going to happen, but if you just start to act, and if you come into this and you take that leap of faith, the parts will come and you will start to build a successful business. And one of the things that I love about this is that, yeah, you're in business for yourself, but you're never in business by yourself. And so maybe, I ask you to check out this video. I'm going to partner with you, and I'm going to help you achieve the things that you need to achieve for your family and for your reasons and for your whys. Maybe someone else asks you to take a look at this video. Rest assured and know that someone is going to help you along the way. You don't just get a box in the mail and have to figure it out. We have so much support, and that's one of my favorite things about doing. And I always knew that I wanted to help people, and that's why I went into nursing. But when I found Arbonne, and I'm going to show you guys some pictures, it totally transformed my skin. I mean, you guys should have seen my skin prior to Arbonne. It was so red, it was so irritated, and I was embarrassed. I didn't leave my house without some sort of mineral powder foundation on and some mascara. But Arbonne totally transformed my skin and gave me that confidence to walk out of my house without a thick coat of makeup on. The other thing that it did was it transformed my health. I didn't know that because I was so tired and lethargic. I thought, well, I'm a mom of 2.5, 3 jobs. Yeah, no wonder I'm tired and lethargic all the time. But Arbonne transformed my health and helped me to regain natural energy through our 30 Days to Healthy Living program. To my mom, and my mom lost 50 pounds and went down 10 pant sizes on our 30 Days to Healthy Living program. And I love that. While it's amazing and she looks phenomenal, what I'm more passionate about is the fact that my mom will stay on this earth longer because of the health choices that she has now adapted and the changes that she's made in her life. Like I said, I have 3 kids. I want my mom to live to see my children to graduate high school. I want her to be there when my kids are walking down the aisle. And the track that she was on, she wasn't going to be. She was young still. She was, mid-40s, and she had high blood pressure and high cholesterol. And because of our 30 Days to Healthy Living program, she's been able to come off of some of those medications. So yeah, it changed my skin, it changed my health. And then when I look at the business, and it changed our finances, literally beyond belief. I mean, my husband is in school right now. He still works as a registered nurse. I do not. Arbonne pays me more than what any hospital or nursing facility could pay me to work as a nurse. And there have just been so many financial blessings. Arbonne has taken us and paid for my husband and I to enjoy a 6-day, 5-night, all-inclusive vacation to the beautiful Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas. Again, we were still, I had been in Arbonne for over a year, and we knew that there wasn't any fine lines, and we knew that they hadn't stolen any money from us. But I remember going on that trip and thinking, oh my gosh, is this really real? Is it really all inclusive? Are they really going to pay for everything? We were paranoid the whole time that we were there, and we checked out at the end and we owed nothing. We didn't owe anything because Arbonne is just that awesome. They paid for all of it. And I remember just being so overjoyed and thinking, this is a vacation we could have never afforded with 3 kids on a nurse's income. And so it has truly changed everything about my life. But what I didn't know when I said yes to this company is that I got to help people with their skincare issues, with their health issues, and with their financial issues. I always saw myself helping people with their life as far as disease processes. And you guys, I still do that today. I kind of consider this as being like on the preventative end of health and wellness, instead of being in the position where sometimes it's too late to do anything. So whether it's helping someone with their skin or with their nutrition or with their finances, I actually said yes to personally growing and developing myself into the person that I wasn't already, that I needed to be, so that I could help others take advantage of this opportunity for their families and for their wives and for their finances. And so Arbonne has just been such a blessing. It was 12 months into my business, and we promoted to the third of 4 levels of management, regional vice president, and the average income at that level is $5,000 to $7,000 a month. And that was, double and sometimes triple what I could make working 40, 50, 60 hours a week as a nurse. And I just remember thinking, like, please, somebody pinch me. Is this real? Is this possible? And you get there just by helping other people achieve their goals, helping other people achieve their health and wellness goals, helping other people achieve their financial goals. This is truly the gift that just keeps on giving. And now looking at this, 2 years into my business and only being one step away from the top of this company, the pinnacle level of this company, the average income is $20,000 to $23,000 per month. And that's, like I said, that's not working this business constantly. It's working it consistently, the same 10 to 15 hours a week that I was putting in, making $500 a month. I'm still consistently working those same hours. Some of the things that I truly value about this is that it's such an equal opportunity. It's not just designed for women, it's also for men, and people of all backgrounds. I have friends who, promoted to the level of management that I'm at when they were 19 and 20 years old. I have, my grandmother's a part of my business. She's in her 60s, and my mother's a part of my business. She's a district manager on my team. You guys, people come into this business. It doesn't matter your gender or your age or your race. None of that matters. You can come in, and if you just consistently work this business, you will promote to wherever it is that you need for you and your family, and you can get out of that rat race of life that just has you questioning and wondering, what else is out there. You guys, you can get out of that. And so I'm just so thankful and hopeful and excited about my future because of everything that Arbonne has given us. And if I would have continued to do what I was doing, and ask yourself that question, if you keep doing what you're doing, what is your life going to look like 5 years from now? And maybe you can keep up what you're doing right now. Maybe you can keep up 3 jobs right now, but how is that going to factor in on your life? How's that going to affect your children that you're missing out on? How's that going to affect your husband? How's that going to affect your physical health? How is that going to serve you in your life? And you guys, I know sometimes it sounds too good to be true because I thought that, but it's not. It's really real. You just have to say yes. And by you saying yes, you will touch and bless the lives of hundreds of thousands of people, and just give them the gift of hope, and just give them the gift of this life-changing opportunity. So I hope that this information was really helpful for you guys. If you have any questions about how to start a business, like I said, for the month of March, it's only $39 to get started, which is truly such an incredible deal. I would love to partner with you, and I would love to help you start your business and just set out on this journey to achieve whatever it is that you need. Love you guys so much, and I hope that this video finds you well and blessed, and have a blessed day.